कलाधरावतं सकं विलासि लोकरक्षकम् अनायकैकनायकं विनाशितेव दैत्यकं नतासुभाषुनाशकं नमामि तं विनायकं न तेतरादिभीकरं नमोदितातभास्वरं नमत्सुरारिनिर्जरं नतादिकापदुत्तरं सुरेश्वरं निधीश्वरं गजेश्वरं गणेश्वरं महेश्वरं तमाश्रये परात्परं निरन्तरं मुदाकरातमोदकं सदा विमुक्तिसाधकं कलाधरावतंसकं विलासि लोकरक्षकम् अनायकैकनायकं विनाशितेव दैत्यकं नतासुभाषुनाशकं नमामि तं विनायकम् समस्तलोकशङ्करं निरस्तदैत्यकुञ्जरं दरेतरोधरं वरं वरे भवत्रमक्षरं कृपाकरं क्षमाकरं मुदाकरं यशस्करं मनस्करं नमस्कृतां नमस्करोमि भास्वरम् अकिञ्चनार्तिमार्जरं चिरन्तनोत्तिभाजनं पुरारिपूर्वरन्दनं सुरारिगर्वचर्वणं प्रपञ्चनाशभीषणं धनञ्जयादिभूषणं कपोलदानवारणं भजे पुराणवारणम् कान्तिदन्तकान्तमन्तकन्तकात्मजम् अचिन्त्यरूपमन्तहीनमन्तराय कृन्तनं हृदन्तरे निरन्तरं वसन्तमेव योगिनं तमेकदन्तमेव तं विचिन्तयामि सन्ततं महागणेश पञ्चरत्नमादरेण योन्महं प्रकल्पति प्रपातके हृदि स्मरं गणेश्वरं मरोगतामदोषतां सुशाहिनीं सुपुत्रतां समाहितायुरष्टभूतिमभ्युपैति सोचिरां मुदाकरातमोदकं सदा विमुक्तिसाधकं कलाधरावतंसकं विलासि लोकरक्षकम् अनायकैकनायकं विनाशितेव दैत्यकं नतासुभाषुनाशकं नमामि तं विनायकं नटेतरादिभीकरं नमोदितातभास्वरं नमत्सुरारिनिर्जरं नतादिकापदुत्तरं सुरेश्वरं निधीश्वरं गजेश्वरं गणेश्वरं महेश्वरं समाश्रये परात्परं निरन्तरं मुदाकरातमोदकं सदा
सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। We are in the end of the second Anuvaka. भूतंच में भविष्यच्च में सुगम च में. If you know where I am talking, it's almost in the last line. सुगम च में सुपदं च मरुद्धं च मरुद्धिश्च में क्लृप्तं च में क्लृप्तिश्च में मतिश्च में सुमतिश्च में. Sugam. Sugam, gamayati, meaning the path. Sugam, meaning that which is a well laid out path. When I say well laid out path, so in today's terminology, that which is well paved, well lit. So the truest or the greatest path or the most auspicious path is to find that mukti here and now. Sadhyo mukti. And there is nothing that compares to this Sadhyo mukti being the main and the only purpose of the human life. Why is it that it is so necessary that it has become a main purpose? After coming to this satsang, we will all go back to our home. Even if you have a traveling job, after the week-long stretch, you come back home. Swasthana. And to reach that swasthana is called swasthiti. Not at a physical realm, but at the spiritual realm, to get back home. What is the purpose of human life? To make that final home run. And I was watching baseball on somebody's insistence. And after you make the home run, I have seen these players, they do this. So even, I don't know what they mean by this. My interpretation is, even they say that home run, meaning upar wala. So the only purpose is that to reach one's own swasthiti, and that is the sugam. So on that path, O Lord, I'm not saying make it easy or make it convenient or make it available in an easy way. However difficult that path be, because the spiritual unfoldment is not difficult. It is unfolding and getting out of the clutches of our own conditionings is what it makes us to go into that path even more difficult. The path itself is not difficult, it is very straightforward. What makes it crooked and round, round, round like a jalebi is my own conditioning. And that conditioning has to be cut asunder. So make this path sugam, meaning may I have the inspiration to walk that path. May I have the clarity about that path. May I have the right instructions at the right time to move forward. May I have the clear vision in spite of various things happening, that I never lose sight of this vision in my life. Sugam. To have that sadhyo mukti, to have that mukti here and now. Sugam. Supatham. Supatham, it now talks about the krama mukti. If I by any chance miss my last breath here, may I go to Brahma Loka, and from there, when Brahmaji finishes his tenure, may I merge into that Supreme. Up until then, I am at his disposal to be in that Brahma Loka, constantly in the meditative bliss along with Brahmaji. Supatham. If not, Riddham. Riddham, may I go to the heavens, from where I am assured to come back into this world. Kshine punye martya lokam vishanti comes in Bhagavad Gita. That as soon as that punya is finished, may I get the most appropriate placement. And Bhagavan Krishna in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita says that there are two options for such seeker who has not finished his or her sadhana here, will come back either into such an environment wherein there is absolute non-glamorous existence, but the parents are somebody who are practicing this yoga, and I get initiated into this path right since the time that I am born. Or born in a family wherein I have the opportunity to finish those lingering vasanas, wherein they have enough that it provides for my choice to finish all the vasanas, and then I can move on to the path at a very young age or opportunity. May I be routed that way. Riddham. Riddhihi. Riddhihi. That when born in the next life, may I have the environment in such a way that it is constantly focused on my spiritual growth. Riddhi. Spiritual accomplishment. Whether physical, material or wealth does not matter, but what matters is that spiritual growth. May I be assured of that. May I have that. Riddham, riddhihi. Kliptam. Kliptam. May I be able to finish the set of vasanas in this very life. See, when people talk about finding your passion, finding your skill, finding your swadharma, what is unfolding as your life is your swadharma. All these are our own vasanas. Whether we prioritize it front or later does not matter. As it unfolds, cater to it. There is nothing more to it. Instead of creating newer patterns, to recognize what are the existing patterns and to dedicate the life in exhausting them. Very few are blessed to make that as their profession, their life job, their passion, everything. If that is not provided for, then find something that is your profession and in such a way that that profession helps you accommodate for this spiritual unfoldment. Let that not be forgotten. Kluptam, exhaustion of the prarabdha through this body in this very life. Imagine, just by chanting this, every aspect of spiritual unfoldment is covered. And it is not as flimsy as that song that the other day we were mentioning, that, oh God, give me more. Because they have also gotten, why am I not getting it? The main focal point and the only focal point is spiritual growth, and that alone. Kluptihi, may I have the power of sadhana wherein the agami and sanchita karma is also burnt away. Again, Ramakrishna Paramahansa Ji says it very beautifully. He says, once you do your sadhana, that which has already been released as prarabdha will have to be experienced. Agami and sanchita get burnt. However huge that pile may be. And Vivekananda Ji in his complete works, he says that pile of agami and sanchita are like 1,000 folds of the Meru Parvata size. And all that will become bhasmi bhuta, burnt away to ashes. And Ramakrishna Paramahansa's example is, when we have seeds and sow them, it will germinate. But if the seed is roasted and you sow them, it does not have the capacity. The capacity to germinate again is lost. But its nutritive value is not. So, baki zindagi kya karna hai? What is the rest of the life? Time pass mungfali khao. Time pass mungfali is your prarabdha. That prarabdha has to be experienced. And sometimes the prarabdha that is unleashed is so much, and the time span with this body is so little, that most of this prarabdha comes across in the way of some kind of heavy ailments. Now you look at, sometimes they are very cruel way of getting through that prarabdha. There are so many of such Mahatmas who have been nailed, who have been poisoned, who have been killed. That is the prarabdha of the body. And many of them who have ailments, like Ramana Maharshi Ji had a cancerous abscess on his armpit. Our Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Ji had the throat cancer. Our own Gurudev, in the last few years meaning 8 to 10 years, and he would take a handful of medicines and he used to call them, these are my gems. Like, our M&M in this country, in India they were these gems, the chocolate candy wrapped with sugar coating and different colors. These are my gems. And said, I even don't know which medicine is for. I am told and I just consume it. That agami and sanchita are done. Prarabdha bhujyam vapuhu. The only way to go through the prarabdha is to experience them. Kluptam kluptihi. Matihi. Matihi means prajnana ghana chaitanyam. What is prajnana ghana chaitanya? In meditation, listen carefully though, this two, matihi and sumatihi. In meditation, it is different from puja, japa, chintana. It is different from any other kind of activity. They say meditate on the lamp. That is not meditating, that is dharana on the lamp. Yogic kriya, what do they call it? Tratak. Suddenly, I don't know why Tratak doesn't come. Trijata comes in my mind. Trijata comes in Ramayana. Okay, Tratak. That is called dharana. Repeating the name of the Lord is called japa. Whether saguna or nirguna, thinking about those aspects is called chintana, contemplation. Now, what is meditation? It is not an easy job to meditate. Oh, I went to these meditation sessions, and what did you do? Those 10 days, we observed silence. Good for the world around you. And then what did you do? We were taught a lot of breathing exercises. And then we were given some mantra. Breathing exercises is called pranayama. The namasmarana or the repetition is called japa. What is meditation? Meditation is to have one thought awarefulness, and you are not repeating the thought. You are the thought. You are in that period. Aham Brahmasmi is not a mantra to be repeated. Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. Take the Japamala and keep doing Aham Brahmasmi. It is called an Anubhava Vakya. Tattvamasi is the Upadesha Vakya or Adesha Vakya. It is the Upadesha given by the master, the Guru, explaining what is Tat, what is Tvam, and how is the oneness. And from then on, what the seeker has to do, the student has to do. It is the Sishya's responsibility to do all this contemplation and then reach to a point of one thought existence. The only example that I can think of which can immediately sink in, I have done this experiment. Do this experiment at your own risk. Do this with only those who you know personally very well. In the middle of their deep sleep, wake them up. Ask them this question: are you a man or are you a woman? Even woken up from deep sleep, they may get irritated because you have woken them up, but they never get confused. Ruk batata hu. I think, no, I am. And do you do any sadhana for that? Wake up early in the morning, Brahma Muhurta Kala. Pumsaha asmi. I am a man. Naham stri, naham stri. Neti neti vakya. Do you do any such kind of mano buddhya hankara chittani naham? He is not making that statement of Nirvana Shatka as something to be contemplated upon, but he is saying how that state is. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. There is just that conscious thought that I am, period. There is no extra qualifiers. Prajnana Ghana Ananda Swarupaha. In that state of mind wherein there is only one thought that I am consciousness. Me, the consciousness, just am. There is no I even. Aham Brahmasmi then translates into Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma, I am. This consciousness, I am. To maintain that one thought, for us to take one japa, one mantra, And to be consistently repeating that one name in itself is a big task. It goes here, it goes there, it goes everywhere. And suddenly we find some conveniences. Oh, I'll do it in my mind. Even when I'm driving, even when I'm... पहले एक स्थान पे शुरू करो. First practice it in one place, in front of the altar. Then you can talk about practicing it everywhere else. For us, it is like, it's a time waste, you know. There are other times wherein, other times you are busily engaged in driving, busily engaged in other kinds of chores. There is not complete 100% effort. That complete 100% effort can happen in only one time and spot, wherein I close everything from outside, and that intensity with which I have to do, constantly repeating one name. Then the stability in repeating that one name leads to silence. And in that silence, it is not sleepful silence. It is awareful silence where I just know that I am. And to bring that experience into day-to-day world is called Sahaja Samadhi. Sahaja Samadhi, to bring into every walk that easiness of existence. Now, what is the test that I have grown? If I can repeat, sit down and repeat 20 malas, 30 malas without being shaken up by anything from outside, and reach to that core of silence, and let not our mind fool us, because initially in first 3-4 years that I think I have reached that stage. Now I'll do my mental japa, mental hi ho, because it will soon drop into sleep and we don't know. Pata nahi, something happens and I am completely lost. Yes, that is true. The intensity of japa cannot be insisted enough to reach to this matihi, wherein there is just one thought that I am this consciousness. It's not repetitive. It's one thought consistently maintained. And you can experience that only if you can repetitively maintain one thought constantly being repeated. Then the next stage. No, sorry, all these are time waste. Now teach meditation. फालतू में बैठे हुए हैं यहाँ पे. People come and say all these lectures and pravachan and puja, we are not interested. Tell us when you are going to teach meditation. It is a slow, gradual progression in the inner world. One has to clear out all the algae of slipperiness. And then find that stability. That firm, stable platform of mind where there is one conscious thought. That is called matihi. Sumatihi. Sumatihi, wherein sampurna brahma jnana. Without any ounce of doubt, to experience that I am this consciousness. Every pore breathing in and through, that I am nothing but this consciousness. Sumatihi. Now moving to the Tritiya Anuvaka. Many times while doing a short Rudra Puja, people chant the 11 Anuvakas of Namakam and then repeat this third Anuvaka because this whole Anuvaka is talking about increasing the awareful existence as consciousness. And it ends with Sudinam Chame, that every moment in my waking world, in my day, may it be blessed with that spiritual effort, spiritual endeavor. Therefore, this is a very, very important anuvaka of the entire Chamaka Prashna. In fact, I think it was he is to be referred to as the Periyava. Periyava is the big Swamiji in Kanchi Matha, not the present head and his successor, but his predecessor. Predecessor is right? Predecessor. And his name was Swami Chandrasekhara Saraswati. And he lived for more than 100 years. I don't exactly know how many years after 100, but definitely his 100th year I had witnessed live. And he used to say that especially for the brahmachari grihastha, this particular anuvaka is important to keep that spiritual knowledge as a priority. More so for the ones who have given up everything should focus and contemplate on this particular anuvaka to be focused on that spiritual path for which everything has been renounced. So, moving forward, repeat after me. Shancha me mayascha me priyancha me nukamascha me kamascha me saumanasascha me Bhadrancha me shreyascha me Vasyascha me yashascha me Bhagascha me dravinancha me Yantacha me dhartacha me Kshemascha me dhritischa me Vishvancha me mahascha me Samviccha me jnatrancha me Suscha me prasuscha me Sirancha me layascha ma Rtancha me mrtancha me Ayakshmancha me namayaccha me Jivatuscha me dirghayutvancha me Anamitrancha me bhayancha me Sugancha me shayanancha me Sushacha me sudinancha me Again, just to remind that after every word there is Shanchame Yagnena Kalpatam, which is from the 10th Anuvaka, last two words goes with every single word. That all this that I am seeking is not for my self luxury or my comfort zones to increase. It is for the sole purpose that I focus on my spiritual sadhana, through which I'll be of a greater productive, positive contributor to the environment that I am existing in. Yajnena kalpatam. Yajna bhava is to acquire all this so that the rest of them around me benefit profusely. Sham. Sham, comfort in this world. Mayaha, comfort in the next world. What happens if you're like Trishanku? There also. Sham, Mayaha. Priyam. Priyam, may I have the object of my love. And what is it that here we are focusing about is the love of that divine, love of that God. Anukamaha. 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 There is nothing more higher than this love of that Lord. Anukamaha. Kamaha. Kamaha. Even if I miss here, that in the next world, that I be provided an environment to continue and pursue this strong desire alone. It would not be called, it would be wrong to refer to it as a desire, but to say it as moksha. Many people have this question that we say that we have to drop everything. All desires have to be dropped. Then to desire for moksha, shouldn't that also be dropped? Moksha is not included in the list of desires. The 4 purusharthas of the human pursuit are dharma, artha, kama and moksha. If the rishis, when they put moksha as into separate category, they understood what they were saying as desires being separate from moksha. I desire for something which is not with me or which is not me. That which I already have, I have a sense of creating security around it or security through it. And I desire for that which is not owned by me, that which is not mine. And moksha therefore cannot be called as a desire, because I am not trying to procure, I am not trying to acquire, I am not trying to secure something which I have to own, but it is already my own true nature. I am just recognizing it. Momentarily there is a lapse of my cognition, I am recognizing it. Re-knowing my own self. So I'm not creating something, I'm not acquiring something, I'm not building something. Therefore it cannot be a result of thought, therefore it cannot be a result of idea, it cannot be a result of my actions. Because it is self-evident and it has been there, always existing. I just have to discover it. Remove the cover that is covering it and find it. Kamaha. Even in the other world, may the focal line be on that Paramatma alone. Saumanasaha. Saumanasaha, don't interpret in Hindi. Hundreds of minds. Saumanaska is to find peace within. Whenever I mention this peace within, there is that infamous incident that I was a witness to. It immediately flashes in my head. I was in Chennai growing up, and right across our apartments there's an open field, and in that open field there would be always these missionaries that there would be an English speaker, and there would be a Tamil translator, and it was quite I don't know how to pronounce that word, vociferous. Did I pronounce it right? Vociferous. Fine. Vociferous. And very animated. And whatever the English fellow does, the fellow speaking in English does, the fellow translating it has to be equally loud and animated. So the thing started, and he said, Jesus is a great man. Jesus or Mahan Purusha. Mahan Purusha, you understand. I don't need to translate it. And then two other sentences, and then he says, Jesus loves peace. And the Tamil translator says, Jesus Pachu Patani Pudikum. Jesus loves snap peas. So here, Sau Manasaha, meaning what peace? P-E-A-C-E. Peace of mind. Bhadram. Bhadram, auspicious. May I have an auspicious environment within. However tormenting my life experiences and prarabdha be, may they not disturb me from within. That is when I can actually truly respond to those experiences. Otherwise, I am reacting and creating further chain of vasana and karma cycle. Bhadram. Shreyaha. Shreyaha. Through every experience, may I look for the greatest good that I can take for my growth. Meaning, let me transcend my mind's capacity to constantly crib and whine. That may I see what great that I can learn from it, and take that nugget of wisdom and perfect my next experiences through that wisdom. Shreyaha, absolute good. Vasyaha. Vasyaha, a congenial environment of house, which is providing an environment to do my sadhana without a break. And I always give these two as examples. However the environment be, to make it work for your sadhana is our choice. Between Tukaram and Eknath, both were married. And each one of their wives were of a different treatment, which helped them in their sadhana. Whose wife was, very, very grumpy and constantly complaining? Tukaramji's. So he would always sit, and he has mentioned in his Abhang also that, oh Lord, thank you for blessing me with such a wife who is constantly complaining. That any asakti towards this kind of vyavaharik life is cut away. And then Eknathji's wife was so cordial and so helpful. And in his works, he would compliment and say, oh Lord, thank you for blessing me with such a wife who helps me in focusing on you without creating a deviation or a distraction in my life. Vasyaha. However the conditions be, how to make it congenial, make it a possibility to focus on that sadhana alone. Yashaha. Yashaha. May my fame be recognized as that sadhak who dedicates his life for this tattva. And may I be recognized as the devotee of that great tattva and nothing else. May that be my fame. Bhagaha. Bhagaha. Bhagyavan. Bhagyavan. May all good luck turn to me. May all the stars align themselves. And here, let me mention that those who are going through the Sade Sati, for a spiritual seeker, that Sade Sati is a good Sati. Sade Sati is of what? Shani. This Shani Maharaj, he is not good for the material accomplishments. And what does he create? He creates appropriate environment to get detached from all those. And because we are not ready to let go, he snatches it away left and right. And we give so much of importance to it that we feel crushed. I don't know, my bad time. Everything is happening contrary to what. If the last thing is snatched, it will be happy. Thank you, Lord Shani. Visit me soon. Because your presence has only ushered me into a better spiritual status. And as Bhagavan Buddha says, nothing can bring us home like a grieving moment can. Grief and sorrow are powerful tools to push us into this spiritual path. Bhagaha, Bhagaha, may good luck be towards this sadhana. Dravidam chame, Dravidam chame, that which constantly flows to maintain. Dravayati. Let me not hold on to the wealth. May that wealth that comes be spent in the rightful causes. By spending which it helps in my sadhana again. Yanta chame, may I have a good teacher, acharya. The one who follows it, stands as a role model, ideal, and leads us through being an example. Yanta chame. Dharta chame. May that teacher be my protector. Dharta chame. Kshemas chame. May I look at the teacher's effort as that which is going to help me grow consistently in my path. Kshemaha. Dhritihi. Not getting shaken up with, to have that kind of fortitude that we don't get shaken up with silly little happenings on the outside. Oh my God, what will happen now? Life will go on. To have that fortitude, the things will mold accordingly. And as they mold, let me have that dhi. Dhiyo yonah prachodayat. Let me have that dhi to accommodate this experience and grow. It's only experience that can teach. And that is why you should have at least 2 kids. First kid is always an experience. Oh my God for everything. But the second kid, theek hai. It's the second experience that makes us mature. Other than the simple little things, and we'll start getting scared. To not stoop down to the happenings of life and to experience them with that fortitude. There's in Hindi they say kamar kaske. Aja, dekh lenge. However, whatever be the experience, I am ready to face in your turf on your terms. And that should be the spirit, dhritihi. Vishwam. Vishwam, every aspect of this creation, manifest and unmanifest, here mostly the manifest, may they be favorable to me. I think one of the best blessings that I had ever gotten by this Avadhut Mahashay. I did namaskar, and as I was getting up, I met him only once in my life. I had not introduced myself as Chinmay Mission, or I have this pravachans and satsangs, nothing. It's almost about 17, 18 years ago. His blessing was, may you have very few people in your satsang. May you never be able to publish your books. May you never be, and he went on a list. And I was amused with this blessing. So I said, Mahatma Ji, if you can explain. Itna bewakoof hai? Are you that dumb? When Avadhutas have their own different kind of way of interacting. They said, if you have all those things, then who will do sadhana? I am blessing you so that you will focus on your sadhana. I said, wow, what a blessing. May the Vishwa, the world around, be favorable. Favorable in such a way that it does not become an obstacle in the sadhana. Mahaha. Mahaha. May I find, and the teachers and the well-wishers who would constantly find Mahaha, a better way to do things than where I am right now. Provided I should have the ability to let go of my earlier convictions to adapt to the newer convictions. To hold on to that which I am thinking would be called as duragraha. Duragraha, agraha is to insist. Duragraha, to insist wherein I am so comfortable in my conviction that I am not ready to let go and move forward to the next one. Mahaha. May I be blessed with that individuals who would constantly evaluate and show me a better way than where I am already existing in. Samvit. Samvit. May I be constantly surrounded by the environments and people who have Shastra Jnana, who have Shastra Priyatva, and are constantly discussing about these subtler values and subtler points of the Shastra. Meaning satsanga to constantly educate me. We'll have one group which will be party group, one group which will be movie group, one group which will be various such groups. And what is this prayer? I'm letting you know itself. If you are praying this, and what are you praying for? That kind of groups wherein it is only satsanga all around. And I have observed that as our intensity in this sadhana increases, those who don't adhere to the same value system, same convictions, they drop out easily. Those who find this inspiring would cling on and continue. So may I have that kind of environment which is constantly helping me with this satsanga in every circle. that I get this education consistently. Samvit. Jnatranchame. Jnatranchame. May I have the capacity to remind myself of the appropriate time for the appropriate decisions, for the appropriate actions. Meaning to be conscious about every aspect of life. To know where I am and to what I should be doing, what my responsibility is, and how far is that responsibility and when to withdraw. Jnatram, conscious living. Jnatranchame. Suhu. Suhu. The capacity to engage others around me, inspiring them to this goal as their life. Suhu. Usually we complain, the mother who comes with the son and says, he has completely messed his life up. Actually, he is a good kid. It was the company that he was keeping, the friendship that he was keeping was a very bad type, and he got influenced. In fact, he is like a 24 karat gold. My argument to such parents is, if your son, if your child was really that 24 karat gold, even if the company was bad, should have influenced them to improve and come to his status rather than drop from his status into theirs. Suhu, to have the capacity to inspire others around to reprioritize their life and make this moksha as their priority. Sometimes parents come and tell me, Swamiji, don't push all these children that come to you for this. Teach them about vyavahar. Teach them about how to be successful. Teach them how to be accomplishing. Teach them how to... If everybody becomes a sannyasi like you, if everybody becomes a seeker like you, what will happen to this world? My immediate example would be that I have been interacting with all of you for the past 15 years. How many of you have become sannyasis and taken to this path? Not necessarily a sannyasi, but taken to this path. Ginne chunne, you can count on fingers. Even for Gurudev's talks, people would come for various reasons. Like in Guruji's talks, I was sitting in the back. It was in one of the camps. And sitting way at the back, there were these two ladies. That there's something collaboration happening between them. I was observing it. And every time Guruji said a joke, until then they will not write anything. The jokes they'll capture. So that the collaboration was, if this lady has written the first one, she'll write the second one, then she'll write the third one, so that they have enough time and space to cover those jokes. And they didn't realize that I was sitting right behind them, and everything that was happening was visible and audible. Tulik, complete. Tulik. No, Tulik. After everything was done, then when Purnamadaha, and we got up, they turned around, they saw me and said, were we too disturbing? I said, I don't care whether you are disturbing me or not, but I definitely see that you are disturbed. What were you both collaborating? So I said, oh, these jokes that Guruji and other acharyas say, we were jotting them down. I said, shouldn't your focus be on the Vedanta Tattva? I said, Vedanta Tattva to sab baat karte hain. Jokes alag hote hain. Vedanta Tattva, everybody speaks. It is these jokes that are different. And we are trying to compile all that. Kya focus hai? And in Gurudev's talks, after Gurudev's lecture was done, we Yuva Kendra members would be standing, regulated crowd, to go through different routes. We are talking about 10-15,000 people in the assembly. So to disperse them, we had different groups and each one would go with one exit so that the congestion into the roads will be reduced. And each one of these Yuva Kendra members would be posted there to distribute different leaflets or various. So one such part where I was standing to distribute, I saw this elderly gentleman with about 15 kids. And as they were leaving, they were busy, they were not taking anything from me, they were busy. So each one had a notepad, a small notepad. And he was asking, how many? He said, 4 new words. So I followed them and I stopped them, asked them out of my own curiosity. I said, what is this? He said, no, I am a teacher in an institute nearby and we teach English. So I thought exposing these children to his vocabulary. Each day their job is to pick 5 new words from his lecture. Itna badhiya Vedanta lecture. And what are they using that for? To learn English. The focal point should be proper. That every experience that I learn, that I do not forget, that I am constantly inspired for the right cause and not get deviated, not get distracted for all these other things. To have the capacity to inspire for that main cause. Prasuhu. If these set of students are indisciplined, to have the capacity to discipline them as well. And Gurudev was one such master. Man. If in his lectures, if in today's world, if he was still there, and if our stupid instruments would go off, he would literally make you stand up, come to him, take that and break it and give it back to you. Pin drop silence. They said, if you are not qualified for this Shruti, I'll not let you go. I'll make you qualified. And he was very stern about it. That when he would deal with his Shishya, he would deal with iron fist. When he would deal with the devotees, he would deal with as if he is like a butter, butter, blob of butter. Soft and convenient for everyone. But with Shishya, a whip master. To have the capacity to discipline if there are these students that have been inspired but not following through. Siram chame. Look at the intensity of the seeker. That in order to make sure that these set of students have everything in a comfortable environment so that they get this message and do the sadhana, may I have all the equipments ready. And here what are the equipments? In those days, therefore he is talking about Siram, meaning like the bull, the plow, the land, so that it can reap bounty. And they would waste less time going out doing bhiksha and more time doing their sadhana so that I can feed them. I can provide for them. Siram chame. Layas chame. Layaschame, may I have the compassion to dissolve all their abnormalities. Those whom I am inspiring, may their abnormalities be dissolved. Something that would damage them, something that would hinder them from growth, may I have the capacity to remove it from them. Ritanchame, Ritam, may I stand as the ideal for the ability to sacrifice. I mean, one meaning is to perform diligently my day to day as the yajna bhava. In the yajna, you have to sacrifice. So the extended meaning of this word would be, may I be the inspiring role model as to how one should sacrifice things so that the sadhana is not disturbed. Whereas I come across many such examples. So this lady would come to the Devi groups, she would come to the yajna, she would come to everything, suddenly vanished. I found her in some other function somewhere in somebody's house. I said, hey, long time no see, what happened? Why don't you come? And she first started off with an offensive standpoint. अरे स्वामी जी, आपको हमारा घर गृहस्थी क्या समझ में आएगा? What will you understand our samsara? I said, try, please go ahead, try telling it. So she said, now whenever the Lord willing, I'll come back to the sadhana process. The difference between a seeker and somebody who is just a common person, common jiva, is a common jiva leaves the sadhana in the hands of God and does the rest of the karma and kama and gets involved in it. Whereas a seeker takes it up on himself to do the sadhana and the results of his action on the Lord. So to have that the capacity to be that role model and inspire, to know what to drop and what to hold on to. And that is why, I should share this another tangent, but a good example for this is the first time that I felt, I was reading through Vivekanandaji's complete works, and I had just completed reading autobiography of a yogi. So I was inspired that, chalo, in this life I got a guru, now I have to be initiated. So I went to Gurudev and I said, Swamiji, I had decided also, the coming Thursday, you are going to initiate me. He must have been amused. He had a beautiful smile on his face. He didn't reject, he didn't ridicule. He just smiled at me. And I said, so on Thursday, early morning, 5 o'clock, I'll come. I had taken the appointment also. I'm planning to do Pada Puja and then Swamiji will initiate me. I instructed him to initiate me. I mean, you should remember, I was, 15, 16-year-old, inspired by this whole process. And that Thursday, early morning in my cycle, with a big plate to do his Pada Puja and a bottle and all the Puja Samagri, everything. I came and he was waiting for me. 5 o'clock, his door was open and he didn't say much. He just said, And I said, put your feet in the plate. Did whatever puja that I knew. I poured that water, did the Pada Puja and did the Ashtottara Namavali. And he just closed his eyes, which he would do normally when Pada Puja was offered. And after everything was done, I was so eager and excited because in Paramahamsa Yoganandaji's book, The Initiation, it transformed him because there was the surge of energy. So I was expecting all these chamatkars to happen this day. So I said, initiate me. What he did, for next 3 days I didn't speak to him. Until the next time that he visited, I did not communicate with him. So the next time that he came, he looked at me and said, "Initiated seeker, come here." So what did he say? Whatever instruction that he gave, it is only way later when I joined the Vedanta course that I understood the crux of it. He said, your initiation is read all the autobiographies of great masters. Why? It is only by going through their life we find the inspiration that there were so many things happening in their life, and yet how did they make this as their only goal? How could they transform every experience into a learning experience? And that was a live format of applying this Vedanta in a very practical way. Rutam chame. Amrutam chame. Amrutam. May I also experience the result. Not just that I experience it, may I also help others experience that which I have been experiencing. What an inspired individual. That Amrita Rasa which I have experienced, may I be of help to make sure that everyone that is around me is also assured to reach that. Amrutanchame. Ayakshmanchame. Ayakshmanchame. May I not be bogged down by the small time diseases. A constant cough, constant wheezing, constant headaches. Let these kinds of diseases, may they not bog me down. If you are completely ill, okay, it can be understood. But if that nagging pain somewhere, constant cough or constant cold, and are you totally sick? No. So you can be bedridden. Are you completely fine that you can upbeat and run in? No. Somewhere in between, frustrating. Because you cannot even say कि मैं बीमार हूँ. अच्छे तो लगते हो. And you're not completely bimar, wherein you'll get all the attention from the world. In between, it saps your energy and enthusiasm. So Lord, may I not be bogged down. May I be free from such small illnesses. Ayakshmanchame. Anamayanchame. Anamayanchame. May I be cured of all incurable diseases if I ever incur them. Anamayanchame. Jivatushchame. Jivatushchame. If I am down with such incurable diseases and such petty diseases, may I have the ability to procure the right medicine. As much as it is my prarabdha to go through the disease, equally it is a prarabdha to provide that medicine for that physical ailment, physical or mental ailment, to get rid of that disease. Jivatuscha me, dirghayutvancha me, dirghayu. Thus, being blessed by the appropriate medicine, may I cherish the long life. See, in the earlier mantra, the long life was for my sadhana. In this, the long life, so that that which I have achieved, I can reach out to as many and provide that environment and scope for them to reach to this height that which I am experiencing. That is the greatest seva. Dirghayutvancha me, anamitrancha me, anamitrancha me. May I and those around me be free from enemies. Amitra, anamitra, free from enemies. Abhayancha me. Bhaya is the immediate result of lack of clarity. When one experiences that clarity, all the clouds of fear are destroyed. That is why Bhagavan says, Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi. Sattva here meaning the intellect. When the intellect is blessed with the clarity, that reflects as Abhaya. May I experience it and may I provide that clarity to others around so that they are uplifted from their fears and their fears are removed. Abhayancha me. Abhayancha me, then Sugamcha me. Sugamcha me. May I be the ideal role model. May I never falter in my life, so that those who are looking up, see, that is why when we look at Gurudev, see, he was already established in that Brahma Tattva. But then whenever he found little time, wherever he was, he would take his japamala and start doing japa. That should not lead us to confusion. अरे ये तो अभी भी साधना कर रहा है कि को पहुंचे हुए वालों को पकड़ते हैं. You know, we will catch somebody who has already reached. He is still doing his sadhana. In fact, when you look at all the Devi Devatas, they are also shown like meditating. They are also shown like, doing the puja and other things. It is not because they have to reach somewhere. It is because the others who are looking up to them, they find the right path and the right inspiration to follow that in their life. Yadyada charate sreshtaha tattadeve itara janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokaha tat anuvartate. To be that ideal role model. Especially in today's world, when we have too many models and too little role models. The greatest role model for a child growing up is his or her own parents. At least for their sake, for the next generation's sake, isn't it high time that we should bring a change in ourselves? Sugam chame. May I be that path, that I can show that path by living it practically in my own life. Shayanancha me. Shayanancha me. May they all reach to that final abode wherein they can actually rest. See, when you are traveling around, you get different kinds of environments. And especially this kind of time difference, time lag, it upsets your biological clock. And when do you find completely rested? When you come back home. They say nothing like home, sweet home. So may they reach that abode of this entire purpose, entire goal, wherein all these Shishya, may they find that abode where they can find their final rest. Having reached where we believe it is not rest in peace, but live in peace. Not RIP, LIP. Live in peace. Thrive in peace. That is the tip of life. Thrive in peace. Shayananchame. Sushachame. Sushachame. May my mornings begin with an inspiring note. And here, both Shayanacharya ji and Vishnu Suri ji, they say that the first thing as soon as we wake up, Uttishtha, and having woken up, he says, next thing is immediately take a shower. Sometimes when I meet our own Desi parents here, even in Balavihar, sometimes I feel very disappointed. After I hear that now, when the kids come in the morning, hey Swamiji, and hug, and I'm little. Why? Because they don't take shower every day. Recently, I had to explain this to a bunch of kids. And they said, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of natural resources, it's a waste of this, it's a waste of that. I could be doing this, I could be resting more for 15 minutes. I said, look, this is the reason that when you wake up in the morning, as soon as you wake up, the whole night the involuntary organs have been digesting, processing, and a lot of toxins are produced. And those toxins are accumulated on the skin. And biologically, when you take a swab and take a sample from the skin, there are so many bacteria. What is the plural of bacteria? Bacteria? So many bacteria that are harmful. But the immune system is strong enough to face all those bacteria. And one way to rejuvenate the entire system is by taking the shower. What happens? It cleans all these bacteria and all the sweat and everything that has come out. It cleans it up and rejuvenates the skin, and the pores and the nerves are rejuvenated, and you feel that freshness when those toxins are gotten rid of. So may my day begin with auspiciousness. Start with a bath. Then the first relationship that we have to develop is with that God. Sit down, even if it is for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, sit down, do your little puja, japa, light a lamp, say a good morning to him. क्यों भगवान कैसे हो? I am up. Are you ready? Cheer him up, talk to him, communicate with him, connect with him, and with that connectivity, the entire day, if you start in a upbeat mode, the rest of the day also is upbeat. So may my mornings be not a morning, but truly a blessing to start on the auspicious note. Sushachame. Sudinanchame. Sudinanchame. This is something that they speak in, I'm told, in the Alcohol Anonymous. They call it as ODAT. One day at a time. They don't go future planning and they get anxious and feel uh, troubled by it. Start with one day at a time. Sudinam. It is our choice to make the day su or du, a good day or a bad day. Lord, give me the capacity to transform every day into a great spiritually unfolding opportunity. Let me, I mean, I'm transgressing the meaning and applying it into today's world. Let me get out of that mode wherein, oh God, it is Monday. I wish there was a weekend soon. But every day is something to look forward to. And let me have the capacity to transform it into a greatest experience and opportunity in a spiritual unfoldment. Sudinanchami. So thereby I have covered both Vishnu Suriji's and Shainacharyaji's explanation on the third Anuvaka. Now let us move to the fourth Anuvaka tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shant Shant Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.